I'm going to rank the Motley Crue studio records. There are 9 albums. How I rank albums, I listen to each song, give it a grade 1 to 4, add up all the grades, divide by the number of songs, get the mean average for each record, put them in order. If you like anything I say, please hit like and subscribe. At number 9 is New Tattoo. Came out in 2000. It was the 8th record. This album is so bad I will never listen to it again. I would rather be tortured on an Iron Maiden than listen to this record. The Iron Maiden torture device, which I don't even think was ever actually used. I think it's more folklore. I would rather have toothpicks jammed under my fingernails than sit and listen to New Tattoo. It is so bad. One word for New Tattoo: sadness. Sadness for Mick Mars. He does his best to try to put some life into this record, and it is just awful. Let's talk about Mick Mars. Apparently at one time he had like 7 different guitar amps all wired together to get his guitar sound. His guitar sound isn't actually all that great. If you got 7 amplifiers wired in some voodoo, I don't know. But anyway, this album sucks. The best tracks: Hell on High Heels, it's okay. After that, the album's a complete train wreck. I mean, it is so bad. The songs on this record might have the worst titles and lyrics ever recorded in history. I mean, these lyrics make Taylor Swift look like Bob Dylan. Treat Me Like the Dog I Am. The song New Tattoo. Drag Strip Superstar. First Band on the Moon. She Needs Rock and Roll. Punched in the Teeth by Love. Fake. Porno Star. Let's talk about that stupid name. I mean, I'm no linguist, but it's my understanding that porn is the genre of film and a porno is a film in that genre. So wouldn't you be a porn star, not a porno star? I don't get it. White People on Dope. I mean, I read these songs to you not because of the bad titles. They're just bad songs. Stupid record. Horrible record. I'll never listen to it again. At number 8, their last record of their career, 2008, Saints of Los Angeles. One word for Saints of Los Angeles: it just sounds forced. It's just not good. The best tracks, well, the title track is amazing. The Animal in Me is okay, but the album stinks. The worst tracks: What's It Gonna Take? Down at the Whiskey. I hate when older bands want to tell stories about the good old days. You know, when we were down at the Whiskey playing as youngsters. Who wants to hear about that? Mother Effer of the Year. I'm the mother effer of the year. That's how bad I am. It's a stupid song. Just Another Psycho. Horrible song. Chicks Equals Trouble. I don't even understand what the hell they're talking about. This Ain't a Love Song. Well, this ain't a good song either. White Trash Circus. There they go with that, you know, the New Tattoo. White Punks on Dope. This one here, White Trash Circus. We know you're white trash. You're Motley Crue. You don't got to tell us. Horrible, horrible album. At number 7, Generation Swine. 1997, it was the 7th record. Now, this album, actually, one word: it has potential. It had potential. You know, a lot of people kick on this album. It's a horrible album cover. The band was clearly just a mess. But this song, this album actually has potential. It just wasn't realized. In 1997, well, this album never had a shot, even if it was good. 80s bands couldn't find success to save their lives in 1997. The best tracks on Generation Swine, Afraid is okay. The worst tracks, Rocket Ship, Shout at the Devil in 97. They actually redid Shout at the Devil, and it's bad. I mean, you took a perfect song from a perfect record and redid it. What the hell are you doing? And let's talk about the song Brandon. This is the worst song I've ever heard. Well, I say that a lot. It's one of them. Brandon, I think it's written about Tommy Lee's kid. Hey, nobody wants to hear Tommy Lee singing about how much he loves his baby and the baby mama, who later, of course, he gets arrested for punching her while she was holding Brandon in her arms. I don't know, something like that. It's a stupid song. Generation Swine is a bad album, but it could have been better if it had a little more direction. Number 6 is the self-titled Motley Crue album. Came out in 1994. It was the 6th record. And, of course, Vince Neil left the band or got fired. And they brought in John Corabi, who's a pretty good singer. This album's heavy. It's probably their heaviest record. My problem with this album, it's just forgettable. One word for this album is forgettable. I can't really tell you any songs on it unless I have the track list in front of me. There's really no identity to it. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not good. It's just kind of there. Now, I have a real problem with calling it Motley Crue. You know, if somebody's new to the catalog, they're probably going to buy first an album called Motley Crue. I would certainly buy Black Sabbath first. I would buy Van Halen 1 first. They called the album Motley Crue. That was obviously a big F.U. to Vince Neil. I hate when bands self-title records deep into their career, because clearly they're trying to make a statement. Hey, F you, Vince. We're now the true Motley Crue. No, you're not. Vince Neil needs to be in Motley Crue. The best tracks, well, the problem with this album, there are no great tracks. The worst tracks, well, the good thing about this record is there are no terrible tracks. It's just a bunch of mediocre songs. None go too high, none go too low. Just a forgettable record. If you like anything I say, please hit like and subscribe. At number 5 is Dr. Feelgood. Came out in 1989. It was the 5th record. It was, from what I understand, the sober record. You know, Nikki Sixx died once, maybe twice, but I know once for sure, from heroin overdose. Dr. Feelgood, they all cleaned up their act, apparently, you know, and if you hear Vince Neil tell his side of it, you know, the tour fell apart, the band fell apart because they're all sober. These are a bunch of guys who built their whole legacy on being partiers, and now they're on tour sipping coffee. And one day, Vince Neil said, why in the hell am I staying sober for you guys? I never had a drinking problem. You did, Nikki. So, of course, Vince went back to sipping some booze, and Nikki didn't like that because, you know, when someone quits something, they need everybody to quit it. I don't remember Vince Neil ever being a real drunk. Of course, he did get in the car wreck, and he did kill that guy, Razzle. But he never had the drug problems Nikki Sixx had. Not even close. The best tracks on Dr. Feelgood. Well, the song Dr. Feelgood, and of course Kickstart My Heart. If I had one word for Dr. Feelgood, it is overrated. There are people who just love this record, and hey, more power to you. I think this album is wimpy, I think the songs are wimpy. I think the band lost all of their attitude. If it wasn't for Bob Rock bringing that big drum sound, I don't even know if this album would even be considered a good record at all. Dr. Feelgood is overrated, except, of course, the title track and Kickstart My Heart. The worst tracks, well, Rattlesnake Shake is stupid. I just can't stand obvious sexual innuendos. Rattlesnake Shake. I mean, heck, a 9-year-old could figure out what you're talking about. The ballad Without You, I think it's just terrible. I like the couple ballads that Motley Crue had in their discography. Home Sweet Home is good. We'll talk about them later. But Without You is just not good. Without you in my life, I'd slowly wilt and die. It's just bad. It's just bad. Coming at number 4 is Girls, Girls, Girls. 1987. It was their 4th record. One word for Girls, Girls, Girls: apologetic. Because they just came off of Theater of Pain, where they were dressing in colors like, pink. And they look like girls. And a lot of people really felt Theater of Pain was just kind of too mellow. Because, of course, it came after Shout at the Devil, which was just in your face. So Girls, 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 they come back with the black leather. They're back on their Harley Davidsons again. This is about the time Nikki Sixx died on a heroin overdose. It was almost like they were trying to erase Theater of Pain from some people's memories. Girls, Girls, Girls is pretty good, though. I like it. The best tracks, Wild Side, of course. I think they're opening their current tour with Wild Side. The title track, Girls, 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 I love that song. Now, there is an anthem. That is an anthem. That song will be played in every dancer bar until the end of time. Now, let's talk about the ballad, You're All I Need. Allegedly, apparently, it's written about some newspaper article they read where a guy loved his girlfriend so much that he killed her so nobody else could have her. That probably happens a lot, actually. You're All I Need is amazing. The lyrics are not so good just because the blade of my knife took away her heart these last 2 days. I sliced you apart, or however it goes. Just kind of, not great, but just the whole melody of the song. The fact that it's kind of a song about killing your girlfriend makes it kind of unique, but I just love the song. It is really, really, really good. The worst tracks, well, Nona. I think it was written by someone's grandma. It's just not even really a song. It just kind of drones, Nona, I'm out of my head without you. Nona. And over and over and over we hear this Nona. Rest in peace, Grandma Nona. But man, I don't need to hear that song again. And of course, Jailhouse Rock. I don't really like when bands do cover songs because you could put an original song on that record, save the cover songs for B-sides of 45s, save the cover songs for concerts, and plus, Jailhouse Rock, it's just kind of a dopey song. It was good for, Elvis, 35 years earlier, but I don't want to hear Vince Neil screaming Jailhouse Rock. Coming in at number 3 is Theater of Pain. 1985, the 3rd record. One word for Theater of Pain: it is underrated. This album gets kicked on a lot, and I think it is just awesome. I love Theater of Pain. The songs are consistent. They're not great, but they're far from being bad. They're just consistent. Keep Your Eye on the Money, Save Our Souls. These are songs that completely are forgotten today, and I think they're just solid tracks. The best track on Theater of Pain is the opening track, City Boy Blues. I love it. Of course, Home Sweet Home, just a great song. The worst tracks on Theater of Pain, well, there's only one terrible track on Theater of Pain. Smoking in the Boys' Room. This song stinks. I just can't stand it. Shout at the Devil was my favorite album as a kid. It's one of my favorite albums to this day. And when the local music channel was debuting the new single off of the new album Theater of Pain, I was just sitting there in front of the TV, eyes glued, waiting to see how they were going to follow up a Shout at the Devil masterpiece. And these guys come out looking like women, talking about smoking in the boys' room. Now, there's nothing really badass about sneaking a cigarette at school in the bathroom. That's not really all that tough. Plus, it's a cover song. I just cannot stand smoking in the boys' room. Lose that song, and this album is much better. I love Theater of Pain, though. I think it's just so underrated. If I say anything you like, please hit like and subscribe. Coming in at number 2 is the first record, Too Fast for Love, 1981. This record pretty much helped pioneer and jumpstart the entire LA metal scene. And I don't call it, hair metal. I think that's just a dumb name. We don't call 60s bell-bottom music. We don't call the 90s flannel shirt music. And of course, Timberland boots. We don't call Eddie Vedder Timberland boot music. In the 80s, you can't really bash on the guys in the 80s dressing the way they did, because, if you're anywhere near my age of 50, you dress the same way. But Too Fast for Love is just really, really, really good. The original copy that came out on Leather Records had 10 songs, but then when it was re-released on Elektra, it had 9 songs. If you have a copy of the Leather Records release, it is worth some big money. So please, you can donate it to my channel. Thank you. One word, though, for Too Fast for Love: attitude. I mean, there is so much dang attitude on this record. It just bleeds from the speakers. It is a great, great record. The best tracks, of course, Livewire. Merry-Go-Round. I love Merry-Go-Round. The title track, Too Fast for Love, is really good. On With the Show is my favorite song on the record. It is awesome. There are no terrible tracks on Too Fast for Love. If I had to pick one that I don't love, Come On and Dance. But Too Fast for Love is really good. But the number 1 record in the Motley Crue discography is, in fact, Shout at the Devil, 1983. This album, from start to finish, is just absolute masterpiece. It opens up with that, in the beginning, good always overpowered the evils of all man's sins, but in time the nations grew weak, and our cities fell to slums while evil stood strong. In the dust of hell and the blackest of hate, he who we fear awaits you. Now, many, many lifetimes later, may destroyed, beaten down, an array of corpses, ashes of dreams, and blood-stained streets. It has been written that those who have the youth have the future. So come now, children of the beast, be strong and shout at the devil. Dun, dun, dun. And then, of course, Shout at the Devil. Just sick, awesome, incredible. One word for Shout at the Devil: sleazy. This band was sleazy. They wore the same leather outfits on stage the entire tour. Never washed them. After each show, they'd take these sweaty, stinky leather outfits, throw them in a trunk, close the trunk, throw it in the bus, put them back on the next night. According to legend, these outfits had not been washed the entire tour, and they just stunk. And of course, the groupies didn't care. This band was sleazy. They were filthy. They were living on Jack Daniels and Krell. If you open up Shout at the Devil, it'll say this album was recorded on Krell, or recorded with the use of Krell. Well, that was their nickname for cocaine. This was a sleazy band. This is a great album. I just can't say enough about it. The best tracks, well, every dang one. This album is just start to finish Lightning in a Bottle. The title track's amazing. Bastard is probably my favorite track. Too Young to Fall in Love is just great. The last track, Danger. This song is incredible. You hear a desperation in Vince's voice, just singing about Hollywood and, you know, the danger of being in their position at that time. Just a great song. If I had to pick a track, One Shout at the Devil I'm not in love with, well, it's the cover song Helter Skelter, because I just don't like when bands put cover songs on records. If you like anything that I had said, please hit like and subscribe. Peace.